Folks, welcome to this video, which is a whirlwind tour through the planning phase of the system development lifecycle. But planning is not just what kicks off the development lifecycle. What we do in planning really has direct implications for the rest of the development lifecycle, because what we do in planning can help set the nature and the tone of what we do in the analysis phase, the design phase, the implementation phase, and ultimately the operation phase. So digging into what kicks off the planning phase is some sort of systems request. As the term implies, this is where someone requests either a change to an existing system or an entirely new system. And the reason for a request can really be anything from needing to save money, from having better and more information for a business process or to make a decision, or maybe we want to improve our service that we provide for our customers. Regardless of the reason for a systems request, this is something that is typically brought to the attention of the development team through some sort of formal form, such as this example form from the Florida Institute of Technology, which captures just sort of the basic details, or this more detailed example form from Pine Valley Furniture, which collects a lot more data. Regardless, once analysts and the development team have a form, they can start doing some fact finding, some preliminary investigation, ultimately to build the business case for the relevance of putting together an information system to address this system's request. And so a business case consists of a number of different factors. And here are some common sample factors, but certainly not all of them, which make up that business case. And we address these questions through fact finding, or what some folks may call a preliminary investigation, whereby we dive deep into getting information about any problems or opportunities with creating a solution, the scope and constraints in doing so, and of course, the costs and the benefits to ultimately have a report to deliver to decision makers so that we may either continue forward with building a new system or improving an existing system, or perhaps not making any changes at all. In doing this preliminary investigation, we want to look at external factors as well as internal factors for the organization, but also, and those would be internal factors, but outside of the organization, things such as the economy, the government, even technology. And when we say technology, this is technology with a big T, meaning that what is being requested, maybe technology doesn't exist to do what they're looking to do with a new system. Or perhaps they're not aware that their existing technology and maybe technology at large, which is currently in play, uh, solves the problem just fine. So these factors can help to inform some of that business case, as well as aspects of feasibility. And when we talk about feasibility, there's numerous ways to divvy up the pie of feasibility, different aspects to look at. But typical ones include operational feasibility, economic, technical, and scheduling feasibility. When we talk about operational feasibility, this is the idea that if we do go ahead and develop a system, will it actually be used effectively? Will the organizational culture affect how effective it is? And this is not something that can be really measured or anticipated clearly, but is something that we need to dive into and study. Economic feasibility ultimately is about the total cost of ownership. And this includes tangible costs, those we can measure in dollars, as well as intangible costs. Those are things we can't measure in dollars, but affect organizational performance. For example, employee satisfaction. On the other side of that are tangible benefits. Again, benefits we can actually measure, and intangible benefits, those which are hard to measure. particularly in what everybody knows and loves, money. Technical feasibility. Got ahead of myself there. Technical feasibility has to do with the technical resources that either the organization has, those internal factors, or that they can acquire, looking at some of those external factors. And then there's scheduling feasibility. What is the time frame for what we're doing? Now, as you've noticed, there are some questions that I have associated with each of these types of feasibilities, but these are really sample questions, getting a sense as to the scheduling feasibility, the technical feasibility, the operational feasibility, and the economic feasibility help us to start to clarify ultimately what are going to be the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that one already exist for the organization as is with the existing system and the way that we're doing things in comparison with the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of going through and ultimately proposing a solution. What you see here on the screen are just some sample SWOT analyses in general, as a SWOT analysis can be done on something small in general, like a patent, or something much larger, such as a particular initiative that is going to entirely transform the organization at large. So through fact finding, we've accumulated problem, opportunity details, the scope of the project, potential constraints, costs, benefits, and ultimately in a report to management, we're going to want to outline a number of different factors. And again, this is a sample of what this sort of report to management might look like with an introductory summary of the initial request, what we found, what the development team, what systems analysts recommend, who would play different roles on the development team, how long it might take, how much it may cost, and ultimately, here's what the organization gets out of it. From here, organizations may draw up a baseline project plan. This may be part of the approval process, or this may come after, and if management or any decision makers give their blessing to continue forward with this project. Once a project is set to continue forward, having a project scope statement, that is, here's what we're going to do, but also here's what we're maybe not going to do, helps to set some guidelines for continuing on in the system development lifecycle, as well as a project charter. And this tends to be used very often in more of a waterfall model, where we want to really get down a sense of scope and who's going to do what throughout the remainder of the development lifecycle. So with that, folks, you got a whirlwind tour through the planning phase of the system development lifecycle. I hope you found this informative. Thank you for watching.